another. What you cooking, man?
What's up, fellas? Good morning. Welcome back to Iron Minds. Dude, it's good to be back. How's everybody doing this morning?
Morning. Just happy to be here.
Dude, Pedro, we got two Iron Men in the show.
I know. We failed to get their autograph backstage before we went live, man.
That costs money, brother.
Hey, I've got $250 in my pocket right now, man. Okay.
Well, then you can get two signatures.
I don't even know if you can buy Arizona teas with that anymore.
Dude, fellas, I was so pumped up last week when I saw the post about completing the Ironman. Nick, especially for you, man, because I know, you were concerned a little bit about, being diabetic and the swim and just all that kind of stuff. And you had mentioned to me offline, like, couldn't believe you ran your best marathon after doing a swim and bike. And so, what was that like, fellas? Tell us about it.
Mike, you want to go first?
Well, let's see. I mean, it's or what's called. We were really ripping on it last week, big time.
No,
Trey,
I
we missed you.
I was out, man. I'm sorry. To be honest. I missed out. No, get caught up.
But yeah, no, I'm good to run it back because it was definitely it's something I at first I was still like for the past couple weeks been wrestling with it. Wish I was able to go a little bit faster. About the time like I've been through that dilemma of being like, oh, I could have gone faster here, there, or the other thing, but that's just after the fact. But really, I've actually become proud of this race, because I was only 6 or 7 minutes off from my actual personal record, but it was the hottest race I've ever done. It was hotter than Ironman Texas. It had higher humidity. It was higher temperatures. The bike course had a lot of car traffic. I almost got hit by a car. And I PR'd the swim and the run. That was what's most important. Like I PR'd my swim and run in those disciplines. I had to be smart on the bike because if I wasn't smart on the bike, I wouldn't have. The run would have been a death march. Like it would have just been. It would have been however many hours of walking. It would have been tough. But I had to be really smart on that bike with slowing down at water stations and getting down a lot of plain water. That was the thing. On the bike, I was taking in 2,000 milligrams of sodium per hour. And you need plain water to go in behind all that for digestion in general. And so I needed to do that. And it was so that means not being able to blast through these the water. Squeezing a bottle in. I would also grab like a few extra. They were also handing out like bananas and like carb bars and stuff. So it's like I was being real smart with nutrition on the bike, so that way I was able to perform at that run because you're starting a marathon at 3 p.m, hottest part of the day. But it was very good. I'm happy with it. I can tell that there's a lot of improvements, a lot of stuff paid off, especially nutrition wise. So I'm super pumped for it, man. It's great, good. But Nick is the man who really showed up and has got a story to tell for many, many people out there on what they can achieve, especially with if they're having any of the ailments that Nick has.
What stood out to me is the bike part. Nick had mentioned that some people actually did get hit by a car and bike. And almost that's wild to me. If that happens, then okay. But I guess when you're going as far as you will on the bike, Ironman is really traffic. That's pretty hot.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but Trey, I can barely hear you, broski.
Yeah, Trey, your sound is a little tough. You're coming in a little quiet. on our end.
Rough. Well, let's see if we can change that up. Hold on. While we're doing that, Nick, tell
Well, no, I think we lost them all together. But
Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
Matt, I'll tell
Dog
you,
dog.
I'm never going to shy away from an opportunity to talk about this because it's been over 2 weeks and I'm still skying on it. I was even thinking about it yesterday. Just that current in the swim was absolutely the hero of the swim. But when I got out of the water over 25 minutes ahead of schedule, I was so jazzed up. I don't know if I've ever been more fired up. And so even though the race was really just about to begin, I was already on top of the world. And I had a very similar fueling strategy to Lombard where I was pushing, let me see, I was doing the 750. Yeah, so I was doing about 1,800 milligrams of sodium every hour on the bike. And some of that was coming from tailwind, which is also 90 grams of carbs. So, the bike was it was just all about being there and endurance. Like you mentioned, the heat. And those last 20 miles, it was kind of funny. I was telling Lisa, I'd come up on people and I'd be like, good morning. In the beginning of the race, whenever you're passing somebody, they'd be like, oh, good morning. Nice day for a stroll. Make a little joke. Within the last 20 miles, you look at the guy next to you, you both are just like, get me the fuck off this bike. But that heat was tough, and I was dealing with it fine in terms of like pots and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, I was like falling asleep. Like it was really heavy in the head. Like those last few miles, it was like, even though there's cones and signs and people pointing, like I didn't trust my decisions if I was going the right way. So when we got off the bike, it came down. Oh, I'll tell you, my favorite part, though, I think about the bike, and this is probably going to be true for most of the race, actually, is the crowds. I mean, we were out in those neighborhoods in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a family sitting out at the end of their driveway cheering for you. And I like to cheer back to them and pump my fist up for them, and then they cheer some more, and then I'm even more fired up. And then you come back to that same spot like 2-3 hours later, and that same family's out there crushing it for you. I mean, that's a lot. That's a hot day to stand in one space and cheer on a bunch of strangers for like 5-6 hours. So that was awesome. But I was feeling good. And then we got in for the marathon, and I started my marathon at like 4:45. And this is what I've been saying all along, is I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to run a marathon after this. Like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And to be honest, at the start of the race, I couldn't either. So it just became a matter of like, oh, well, go. And I remember what Lombard had told me a while ago. He's like, it's a lot easier to look at it like a 140-mile race, instead of a 26-mile or instead of a marathon. And so really, it just became ticking it down. But my run strategy was to really go from water station to water station and to walk through the water stations to make sure I was capitalizing on the fluids that I both need for POTS and for diabetes. But I also, at this point, struggled to get it down. I felt sick. And so a 15-second water station walk turned into like a 2-minute water station walk, just so I could drink 4 ounces of water. I was just trying to keep getting those electrolytes down. I remember I had some soup at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something like that helped me out a little bit. But my darkest moment probably came towards the end of the first or middle of the second loop, I think, when I broke into a shiver. I mean, here it is, still like 100 degrees outside, and I was like full-blown freezing. That could have been from the shock, from the sun, from the sweat. I think it was just my body, like my nervous system going haywire. And so mentally, that was a really tough part for me because I'm like, dude, you still got like 3 hours left of this. And there's no easy way out. There is no other way out. So it just became a matter of like, how long can you endure? And then ultimately the shivering went away and I just kept moving forward. Ultimately I do go back and forth sometimes, like thinking about in the marathon, or maybe if I had throttled back a little bit of the sodium on the bike, maybe I would have felt better, because it was not my best marathon. It was my third worst marathon, but it was not my worst marathon. That by itself is impressive to me. But so I go back and forth in my head. I'm like, hey, maybe if I felt better, or if I just pushed through feeling better, I could have run 20, 30 minutes faster. But I'm like, dude, you beat your goal time by 15 minutes, and nobody in the world would have cared if you were 20 minutes faster at the end of the race. So if I were to look back really and think that I wish I could have done anything different, honestly, it would have been to somehow enjoy the last moments more. You know, coming down that mile 24, 25, I'd love to celebrate. I'd love to do what they do in the movies and kick back the reel of all the stuff that got you there. But instead it was like, I feel so sick. That's all I could think about. It was just how sick I felt. But once you come up on it and that last mile, you can kind of see the big red M dot in the sky towards the finish line. You can hear the crowd and see the lights moving. And when you start coming up on it, I mean, it is something different. I've been through some finish lines. You know, like Boston is always going to be epic to me. The major marathons, New York and Chicago. But I don't know if there's really anything like that red carpet experience of an Ironman.
Yeah, that's incredible, dude. That's incredible. So jazzed when I saw the pictures of you guys crossing the finish line. So that was awesome. Man.
Yeah, that bike. I'll tell you, that bike. It is. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, it's the last 20 miles of the bike. Like when you get to mile 90, that's like getting to mile 90 is like easy. That's like easy part. But I can't lie though. Like me personally, mile 30 on the bike, my tri-suit has gotten a little bit tighter. My legs are stronger than they were a year ago, and so it's like I felt like my suit has gotten a little tight. I think that's the factor. But mile 30 on the bike, I was like, man, I kind of don't want to do this. But like I talked myself out of those. But yeah, mile 90 on the bike is where it really drags. You get a little bit of a boost because again, yeah, you got to look at the races the full 140, not 3 disciplines. And when you get to mile 72 on the bike, you're technically halfway done with the race because the swim is 2.4 miles. So when you're at 74 miles or whatever, you know, that's when you're about halfway through. And then same thing when you get to the run. Yeah, like when you view it as now you have a marathon left, it seems daunting. But when you look at it as saying, well, wow, I've already gone 119 or something miles, however many, like you've done actually 3/4 of the race. Like when you think about when you get off the bike and you've only got, you know, a quarter of it left. And when you think about it that way, it kind of changes your mindset on things. And yeah, Nick can't. That's the thing with Ironman. It is like a drug in a way because that red carpet experience is something you train very hard to get to. And each one is special in its own way. You know, this third one for me was obviously really special because it's when I found out my wife was pregnant. So it's like really, you know, every red carpet is different. When you get to it, yeah, it kind of, what it does neurologically to your brain, you become a different person. Again, you're a different person by the time you hit the red carpet than when you jumped in the water. You're a completely different person. You are not even close to being the same guy you were 12 hours prior. And that's the beauty of Ironman, and that's what it does. And again, it doesn't need to be Ironman for other people, but you need to find whatever that Ironman is and realize what you become when you get to that red carpet moment. That's what's powerful about it.
So I'm gonna be the disruptor. Now, I got some questions for you two, Mr. Lombard, Mr. Nick. So first of all, I want to point a couple things out. So if Lombard had never made it to the finish line, would he know that his wife is pregnant yet? Think on that all day today. Second thing, Nick, where did you get soup in an Ironman? Like, were they serving breakfast and lunch at the water stations? Because just the fact that you just threw in there, a can of soup at like 9 a.m.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what. This is the first time I've had soup here, but I've never run a 100-miler yet. But I understand that 100-milers are basically like it's like Halloween in a buffet.
Yeah.
So this was neat because it's the broth. It's like the soup broth that's supposed to. I think it's the sodium. For me, I just wanted the warmth and maybe something to settle my stomach. But yeah, you know, they're handing a lot of stuff out of plastic and tinfoil and all this jazz. And
What, like people on the sidelines or something?
no, this is like the official. The official aid station.
Okay.
But the people
Gotcha.
people on the sidelines, especially in the neighborhoods, a lot of them do host their own, have their own tent. I remember when I ran the St. Anthony Triathlon down here in St. Pete, like 2 months ago or whatever. When you get into the rich neighborhoods, they're handing out mimosas. Um, like people do weird things at their tents, man. But I'll tell you what, that is, take it or not, it is just crowd support is just so underrated. It's so underrated. As a matter of fact, I posted something in one of the groups I'm in the other day, and somebody even commented, "Hey, I was wearing my Jaws headband for that race," and she was like, "Hey, Jaws headband guy, you ran by my house 3 times." And it was one of the spectators who lived there. It was awesome.
That's
So
actually really
here's my
cool.
second question, and
Super cool.
I've heard you talk about this, Nick, and I kind of understand how you figured it out, but Lombard, like your input. So, both of you guys were saying, that when y'all were doing this, how much sodium you were having to intake, and making sure you were properly hydrated, which is an obvious one. But how did you guys figure that stuff out? Maybe for people that are trying to take it up to the next level, because I personally never thought about that. To me, all I have to do is just keep water in my body and I'm fine. So, how did you guys figure out exactly what salt you need, what increments you need to take it in, and what are the things you need during like these Ironmans and other marathons to keep you guys going?
Yeah, nutrition is really like it's called the fourth discipline. At least in triathlon, that's what it's called. It's the fourth discipline, and really um, it comes a little bit with experience because once when you get to the like as you start to level up and your goalpost starts to shift. So like when you like if you're somebody who's just like really getting into running, you don't really need to focus about nutrition for anything up to a 10K. Like, maybe have a decent meal the night before, have a bagel in the morning. You're good, especially if you're trying to go as fast as you can. You don't really need to worry. Once you get to the half marathon part, once you get to doing and in your training runs, you're doing something like running 10 miles, you'll kind of notice from getting out there. Like if you were to go for a 10-mile run without, you just had pasta the night before and you had a good amount of water. By the time you get to mile 7 or 8, you'll see you might feel yourself start to like slow down and become like and get a little bit like you start to feel like very inflamed. So it really comes with experience and it's experience and research. Like once you and I know this from getting into coaching myself, but then just from talking to other marathoners, like I knew that going into like the first marathon I did in 2022, like somebody like basically it says it right on the gel patch, like take one of these every 3 miles or 45 minutes. And so that was my first inclination of, oh, I guess this is what I need to do. And then it's really trial and error of kind of figuring it out. You can go further. You can really nerd out. I know a lot of people have gotten sweat tests, and you can find out how much sodium you actually lose per hour. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I will one day if they're like $200. But you kind of, but yeah, it's through experience and research mainly, and just from connecting with other people in the space. When it comes to endurance, you want to because you need to be strategic in your diet even leading up to the race. Like you want to build up your glycogen stores in your blood through carbohydrates and sodium. And so yeah, I'd say it's experience and a little bit of trial and error and just and knowing what it feels like when you lack the nutrition. Like I've gone on a 10 or 12 or 16 mile run, and you're starting to fade. You start to basically feel like you're fading in a way. Your split starts to deteriorate. That is you. That is your glycogen stores, your carbohydrates depleting, and your body switching from burning like primarily carbs to fat. And when that happens, you're like fat's not as good of an energy source as carbohydrates, and so you sort of feel that your energy output isn't as good.
Mine was mine's always been learning experience, mostly from diabetes. I remember when I first went on like an 8 mile run, and I brought one gel pack, and I almost died. I write about it in my book. I was 4 miles away from home and blacking out, so I learned that one the hard way. But for this, it was the experience, the research, and then I did a lot of math. You might remember a month or so ago, I talked about my 20-mile run, and I kind of bonked towards the end. Well, I got enough water, I got enough glucose, I was not getting enough sodium, and I think that's why after mile 16 the wheels came off. when I did my 100-mile bike ride a month or so ago, the last 7 miles or so, I was pretty much pedaling with my left leg because my right leg was cramping so bad. And I think a lot of that was not having got enough sodium. I think sodium is the most underrated, still under-discussed component of endurance racing, and I'm still learning about it even because having known now about POTS and actually understanding the things that go on with my body, like I'm gonna lose 4 or 5 pounds of sweat per hour on the bike minimum. I'm gonna lose 6 or 7 pounds of sweat per hour on the run. And so not only did I use that math to realize how much water I'm gonna need, but then I figured out how much sodium I'll need on top of it. I actually spent a lot of time on this for the race, just to learn what was at the aid stations, what they're handing out. I even got another water bottle holder for my bike just to make sure I could do everything. And then even at the end of it, my blood sugars were high all day and I probably had more sodium than I needed. So, I mean, you know, a lot of experimentation. But if I were to run it back today, I would probably run the same play that I ran during the race and get more data for next time.
Yeah.
So guys, like, does everyone else have a plan like y'all? You know, when you go into this thing, besides the training, you know, like Nick, you said you were like running between aid station or water station to water station there for a little bit. Like Lombard, did you have a plan? And like, do all the other athletes, they kind of, you know, come up with a playbook of how they're going to attack this thing, or do you just get to a certain level, you're like, I got this. It's just another Sunday walk in the park.
Yeah, man, it takes strategy, because that's why I had so many stomach problems at Ironman Florida, is because like I was going off of marathon strategy, so I was taking in a lot of gels on the bike, and so which wasn't really good for my stomach. You kind of need solid food, and when you're doing stuff like ultra, or you know, like ultra endurance events on that bike, your heart rate's not that high. So you need solid food, like, and because if your heart, obviously, you know, if you're sprinting, you can't eat solid food while you're sprinting. But if you're on a bike, like you can very easily eat solid foods, because it's very low impact and your heart rate's not that high. So there's definitely a strategy for, I mean, whether you're a pro or whether it's your first Ironman, you got to have a strategy with it, or else you'll just have really bad indigestion. You can have, you know, you'll have freaking diarrhea, which when you do, if you do have, you know, like during Ironman Florida, and again, kind of like what you said, how you're good with only water. If you're only drinking water, you're pissing out all the electrolytes. And then, yeah, if you have any stomach issues, you're also dehydrating yourself. So you got to have a strategy. Like the pros, like I was taking in 100 grams of carbs per hour on the bike. These guys, the guys who win at Ironman, they're taking 200 grams plus per hour, because they're moving that much faster. They need that much more fuel. But so you've also got to, like, again, it's called the fourth discipline for a reason, because for you to eat all this stuff, you kind of need to train your stomach for it at the same time. So no, I had a strategy. I knew it. I knew on the bike I had 30-ounce water bottles that had 2,000 milligrams of sodium in each one, with 90 something grams of carbs. And then I ate candy on the bike. I ate Swedish Fish and Nerds clusters and a few like carb bars they had on the bike course. But yeah, you got to have a strategy. And the reason why it's important, we talk about hydration now, like what you said, Nick said sodium's underrated. Most people think, you know, we hear sodium, we think bad, we think of our heart health, but most people are dehydrated and they don't know it. The first symptom of dehydration is fatigue. People forget that, getting tired. And so at the end of your day at 2-3 in the afternoon, a lot of people are like, oh, I need that extra cup of coffee. It's probably dehydration. Like, especially if you're active, especially if you're out moving, or even if you're doing yard work, if you're crashing in the afternoon, it's probably due to a lack of electrolytes, not the need of more caffeine. So it's like, we don't realize how much hydration we need, especially dealing with hot temperatures or an active lifestyle. But yeah, you got to have a game plan.
And the DNF rate for that race was like almost 20%. It was something like 17 or 18%, I think. And so much of it had to just come from the heat. People that just weren't prepared. And even if it were, I mean, like, to your point about the sodium, this one guy on the bike, probably 90 miles in, was kind of like telling me, he's like, man, I'm so tired. And I was like, I don't know why I feel like this. And that's what I told him. I was like, you're drinking enough sodium? And sure enough, he was like, huh. I'm still learning. If I did not If I was not diagnosed with POTS, I don't think I would know what I know now, and I don't think I would have been as prepared because I would have just taken a little more. I thought I already did a lot of sodium because I, did like 500 milligrams a day or something like that. I'm like, oh, I take some electrolytes once a day, I'm good. Having no idea, basically just the survival mode that I was putting my body into 24 hours a day.
Wow. Fellas, that's incredible, dude. I'm so excited to hear the story. Now, Nick, you said that this was a loop you went past multiple times. That's awesome. And I didn't think about the path, 130 miles, whatever it is, 40, to go to the same places. How many times did you do the loop? Was it twice? Did you see the same houses twice, or did you see more than that?
The bike loop was twice. The marathon loop was 3 times.
3 times. Okay, cool. That's awesome that people are out there just cheering you guys on. That makes a difference, man. You get out to, I've done Tough Mudders and a couple half marathons, and when there's nobody out there, sometimes you get really lonely. But man, you see people cheering you on. It changes the whole game. So.
And let me give it up to the local law enforcement. I understand some people might not have been thrilled about some of the traffic control, but the guys that were out there all day doing their best to keep us safe, telling jokes, 12 hours later, cheering you on. There was one guy on the marathon route, Mike, I don't remember him, in the neighborhoods, big, tall, white, bald cop. And if you were coming up, he would be like, you have done the 2.4 mile swim. You have done the 112 mile bike. You only have so many more miles. You are already an Ironman. This is the cop directing traffic. I come by an hour and a half later, he's yelling the same shit. Like, those guys are absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. And that is so cool. Man, well, kudos to you guys. I'm really proud of you guys. It's incredible that you guys did that. Sorry I've been out for the last couple of weeks, but I got to tell you, I haven't done anything like an Ironman, but I have gotten a couple things done that I'm really excited about. First of all, I think you guys knew this. I started a bathroom project back in October because we had family coming into town. And
look at that. Look at that.
Look at you.
That's nice, bro. Finish, huh? Hotel
Griggs right there, brother.
That's right.
Dude, he's already got our guest room ready for us, boys.
Iron Minds on location.
Let me see if this thing will play. It's not wanting to play right now. Hold on. Come on. Why is it not playing? Let's see if this one will play. Okay, so this is inside the bathroom. Oh, it's loading. Okay, here you go. This will give you a little feel for the bathroom that I built.
Ooh-wee.
It's
part of the JW Marriott Hotel collection.
I know, right?
Yeah. So
the Trey Griggs collection, Nick.
So
yeah,
I'm really happy that we got this done. So there's the bathroom. It got finished, and we got to enjoy that. So that's great. The other thing that happened too is my daughter graduated, and she actually gave a speech. And this is part of her speech there. Yeah, she gave a really great speech for graduation, and so we got that done. And then the last one is, let me see if I can find this real quick. Okay, here it is, right here. Okay, so you guys can see that the Pure Michigan sign here in the back. This is our 50th state. We got the girls to all 50 states last week. We finalized it. So we were driving, the sign came up, and they caught a little picture. So a couple of cool things happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks for us, and that was pretty sweet. So
it's awesome.
Really happy with some of that.
How was that speech? Did your daughter talk about I've been seeing a lot of commencement speeches, and the speakers have been talking about how AI is the future, and they get booed. Did your daughter warn about the dangers of artificial intelligence?
She did not. It was actually each student got to speak on what they wanted to speak on, and my daughter actually had it in tears, because the majority of her speech was a tribute to her mom, who is the principal of the school, who built the high school basically. So 4 years ago when this all started, it was just a K-8 school. And then they had a freshman class, which Hannah was a part of that class. Freshman, sophomore, then juniors, and then this year they have all 4. And it's incredible because for a brand new high school, they already have AP classes, they already have dual credit classes, they already have service hours, A+ certified. So they have all these things in place that most high schools have, we already have that. And so she gave about a 5-minute speech, and I bet 2/3 of that was a tribute to her mom and how proud she is of her mom for what my wife had built, and had us in tears, man. Like, had us absolutely in tears with that speech. But it was really great. It was an incredible ceremony. Rarely in life do you have something that comes across as being perfect. And I tell people, this graduation week that we had 2 weeks ago, every moment just seemed perfect. The senior awards dinner on Thursday night. As a family, we went to the Cardinals World game on Friday night and enjoyed that. Saturday was the graduation. It went perfect. Sunday, we had our graduation party. Had about 150 people come to our house. And the whole week, the whole 4 days that we did that, everything just went perfect. It just couldn't have gone better. I couldn't have been more happy about how everything went. And now I got a high school graduate in my house, which is kind of crazy. So, we got 10 weeks, and then we take her to college, and she's out of here. It's wild.
That's going to be even crazier.
I know. It's really, really wild. So, anyways, we've had a great time the last 3 weeks, just getting through that period, finishing up school, doing the first graduation ever. It was the 20-year anniversary of the school. We did a gala on May 2nd to raise money for the school, raise $181,000. Like, the whole month of May was just a tremendous month for the school and for our family. It was exhausting, but it was tremendous. So
it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, missed being with you guys the last couple of weeks, but had some really, really good moments I'm going to cherish forever, which is great. Which is probably not a terrible way to end the show as we come up on the bottom of the hour here. It's really great to see you guys. Again, I'm so proud of you guys for what you guys have done. The summer is upon us, man. So the big question is, what's next? And what do you guys have on your calendar next?
Yeah, what's next? For me, we're.
Go ahead.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, what's next? So real quick, I know before we sign off, is number one, we're at month 6 of 12. 50% of the year is done. It's time to renegotiate the terms and conditions from the goals you set back at the beginning of the year, and know that we're here to help. But what's next is I got roped into doing the Texas Water Safari again. So next Friday, I'm going to blow my nervous system out. I'll be offline for a little bit, so I'm excited. That kind of came last minute. But then I'm going to dial in and get ready. I'll do the Waco 70.3, attempt a PR there. I'm looking at doing a marathon in Banja Luka, which is in the autonomous state of Republika Srpska in Bosnia. So that'll be at the end of October. And then I may do a last man standing ultra in December. We'll see. So I really this is it. I'm gonna really lean in this summer because we don't know anything about when the child's due or anything. We haven't gone to a doctor. We haven't tracked anything. We haven't 5 in our house. So this is the last year of just my wife and I. So I'm gonna really hit the hammer as much as I can. Double down on all things Lombard and my habits, my disciplines, and try to let it all out there, and then hopefully ring in 2027. With the that's when we think the baby would be born in January. So that's what we'll let it rip. So a couple more races this year. We'll have some fun and a little bit of travel and put the hammer down.
Well, congratulations on becoming a parent. That's incredibly exciting, man. I feel like I'm getting towards the end of my parenting journey. Seeing you start your journey, man, it's incredible. It's the best race you're going to run. We'll just say that. Being a parent early is amazing. That whole journey is crazy. Nick, how about you, man?
Well, I only set 5 goals a year, and Ironman was number 4. So my physical goal is complete. I'm going to probably do some local tries, some sprints at Olympics over the next couple of months. It's Florida. They're all the time. But I will be training for lifestyle and turning my focus on to some of my other goals, in particular the business.
Yeah, nice.
Got to make money to pay for the races. So
That's right. Love it. Well, man, it's good to be back. Good to see you guys. Summer's here. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Listen, everybody, find your tribe, find your group, challenge yourself, sign up for a race, do something. As Lombard said, renegotiate, figure out what you're going to do here. We will see you guys right back here next Tuesday online. Peace out, everybody.